Hi, my name is Brian Benton with another My Town Media opinion piece called Cancer in the Chamber. Let me ask you a question. What happens when multiple levels of government that are supposed to keep things fair become conflicted? That's the question at the heart of the case against the Townsville suspended Mayor Troy Thompson, and it's on the minds of every mayor in Queensland. It's important to note here that Mr Thompson has never been afforded natural justice to justify any of the accusations that are being levelled against him. On Monday the 15th, the injustice continued and the extent of cancer in the chamber of Townsville was on full display, and it's seriously malignant. No amount of backpedalling will save the TCC, and sadly the Queensland LNP government could also go down with it. As this matter drags on, more layers of conflict of interest are surfacing, and it needs to be exposed. We are fast approaching a completely broken democratic system in Queensland. On Monday, Townsville councillors grabbed hold of the opportunity to censure the suspended mayor based on a report the council itself had initiated through an independent review, referred back to it by the Office of the Independent Assessor. The problem was that to pass judgment, the councillors had to navigate conflict of interest protocols. Now let me explain. In Queensland law, there are two kinds of conflict: prescribed conflicts and declarable conflicts. A prescribed conflict means a councillor must automatically withdraw from any vote. It's a conflict so serious and direct that the law automatically disqualifies the councillor from participating. And generally they involve some kind of financial interest or where a close associate may be involved. No council resolution can ever waive a prescribed conflict. Then there are what's called declarable conflicts, where it's up to councillors themselves or others to decide if they should step aside or not. A declarable conflict occurs if a matter is significant enough that a reasonable person may think a councillor is conflicted in their decision making. Now, Monday's meeting was one such case. All councillors were conflicted in this matter because all councillors back in May 24 had publicly threatened to move a motion of no confidence against the mayor if he did not resign. That action had no basis in law under the LGA Act of 2009. The Act provides no mechanism for councillors to formally move a binding motion of no confidence against the mayor. The motion was purely symbolic and a political ploy to discredit the mayor. Any motion and subsequent actions based on that motion had no legal effect, and councillors, in my view, were ill-informed of the consequences of their actions. It was a foolish decision that did harm not only to themselves, but the mayor and the city at large. The only way councillors could proceed with this new censure motion against the mayor on the 15th was if a higher authority, in this case the minister, waived the declared conflict. And the Act allows for that to happen. So what did happen? Well, each councillor read a statement of waiver prepared by the minister as follows. It says, in relation to all the items listed on today's special meeting for Monday the 15th, I, councillor name, declare a declarable conflict of interest because A, I made a public statement calling on the mayor to resign and subsequently moved a motion of no confidence in the mayor. B, I was the subject of a threat by the mayor for those who did him wrong and should be very concerned. C, I received a letter from the mayor, which I am aware has been referred to the CCC as an allegation of corrupt conduct. Then they said, in anticipation of at least a majority of councillors making the same declaration as my own, I have sought and obtained the minister's approval in accordance with section 150EV of the Act to participate in all the items of today's agenda despite my declarable conflict of interest that I have just described. Now, think about this. This is an incredible admission that now acknowledges collective intent to do harm and take down the mayor. It is effectively a public admission of fault. It isn't any wonder, and to their credit, that Councillor Jacobs and Councillor Robinson were smart enough to recluse themselves from the vote. But the bigger problem here, though, is that the minister herself had a declarable conflict of interest in the matter. Now, the minister, as I understand it, has a conflict because of legal matters relating to Mr Thompson that are now before the CCC and the Queensland Human Rights Commission. She should, in my view, never allowed herself to waiver the declared conflicts of councillors when she herself was potentially conflicted. If by her actions, whilst herself having a potential declarable conflict, she has enabled councillors to censure Mr Thompson, then that action against the suspended mayor is a gross miscarriage of justice and, in my view, would give grounds to not only overturning any judgment of the 15th, but completely compromise the case against Mr Thompson on other matters. It also potentially creates a massive headache for the government. Every mayor in Queensland, I suggest, is watching this space and asking why Premier Crisafulli, who is also potentially conflicted from his own public statements, and who incidentally was once the deputy mayor of Townsville, why is it that he is allowing such maladministration of governance to take place under his watch? My suspicion is that there is a trove of information ready to be released that will blow the lid off Townsville if a full audit is allowed to happen. Now, the sum of this reflects a system of governance in Queensland that is broken. Premier Crisafulli could be a hero here, but he hovers over this broken system and people are asking why. Why has he allowed a kangaroo court in Townsville to potentially derail his own government? Seriously, why would anyone let that happen? This is not due process, but in my opinion, an abuse of process. When the system meant to deliver accountability is compromised, the only way left to get justice is through independent courts or public scrutiny, and that's where you come in. At My Town Media, we'll keep digging into the layers of conflict surrounding this case. And if you believe in accountability and fairness, share this video, leave your thoughts below, and let's keep shining a light where others don't want to. It's time to start exposing the underbelly of Townsville and cut the cancer out. Now, these comments are an expression of my own honest opinions and thoughts and profit without prejudice. Thanks for watching, and remember, the things that appear are not always as they seem. Bye.